Yeah, I mean code. What I mean by code driving it, A17.3 2020 drives that in essence of that's an existing elevator code. So the existing elevator code states every elevator, if it's retroactive, has to have an unintended ascending movement device on there.
Okay.
So states like Nevada, Florida, going back, if they don't have a device, they need to be compliant by a certain year. So they usually give them a couple years, give the building owners a couple years to be compliant. And there again, that's what has been driving our device. New York City has what they call a single plunger type of a code where any elevator machine with a single plunger type of a brake, you need to take care of that with a device like ours. Okay. Again, a rope brake type of device, because those single plungers years ago could stick, and that single plunger lifts both sides of a brake shoe.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And basically, if it sticks, you're not clamping down. That machine keeps moving, and the elevator keeps driving toward the top or bottom of the hoistway.
Hello, and welcome to the Elevator Careers Podcast, sponsored by the Allred Group. I am your host, Matt Allred. In this podcast, we talk to the people whose lives and careers are dedicated to the vertical transportation industry to inform and share lessons learned, building upon the foundation of those who have gone before to inspire the next generation of elevator careers. Today, we're sitting down with Kevin Cunningham, an elevator professional and entrepreneur who, along with his partner Tim Toan, turned a critical safety challenge into a mission to safeguard lives. Their company, HydraSafe Brake, isn't just creating a product, they're creating peace of mind for everyone who steps into an elevator. This is a story of how a commitment to safety can transform an entire industry, proving that with vision and determination, we can make the world a little bit safer, one elevator at a time. This is part 2. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I'm excited to be able to talk again. It was a lot of fun getting to talk about your career, and I want to learn a little bit more about HydraSafe Brake. And that's the company that you and Tim started, correct?
Yes, my partner and I started a company, HydraSafe Brake, and we developed a device, an unintended ascending movement device for the elevator business, and it's more of a safety device.
When you say unintended ascending, to me, I mean, does that mean going up? But I guess I'm under. I just want to clarify because I assumed it was. If it's going to fall, right? You need the
you're ascending. Your ascending would be going up. Your unattended would be going down. So in certain situations with traction elevators that are counterweighted, right. So your 40% heavier elevator is going to head up. So let's say in case of a brake failure, your brake fails. A pad can't clamp a spring brake. So whatever the case may be, your plunger hangs up or something like that. The elevator is just going to drift. Or it might run away sporadically, again, because of some other mechanical or maybe even an electrical issue. So our device, what it does, based upon code's been driving this now for quite a long time, is once it senses that, our device clamps on the rails. Okay. Ours is activated on the rails, is what our device does. So we basically took a set of disc brakes and we put them on an elevator is what we did.
That's cool. And like I say, just grab a hold of the rail, and as long as it pinches tight, it's not going anywhere.
No, as long as it pinches the rail like a set of safeties normally would, it does not go anywhere. So it's kind of a neat system, and also what the features will do, and later on down the line, which we're in development on now, is to be able to, like a set of disc brakes, pulsate. We're able to pulsate. If you do have a problem in an elevator and you get stuck in a blind hoistway, you got to get the people out. First responders are coming in. What can they do? We have features where they can go to a lobby panel and take the key and pulsate that and go.
So essentially, it goes down slowly because it's kind of bite as it goes down.
It would kind of like that. Yeah, you'd actually be going up in that type of. It depends how many people are in an elevator, but yes, that would actually be the concept of it. Yes. And to get that to a safe landing, open the doors, brake sets, you're safe. First responders are safe as well. Mm-hmm. They can exit people out of the elevator, and then a technician can also then start taking a look at what the problem is.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, I'm a little intrigued because, elevators have been around 150 years. And so part of me is saying, well, why didn't this get invented, 100 years ago? And here it is. So explain that a little bit to me. You're saying the code is actually developed to where it's saying, hey, we need essentially a second brake. We need protection in case the brake fails.
A redundancy feature basically that's built into the system for safety. So, what has happened over the course of the years is, again, like I say, brakes fail. Elevator could be open at a floor, and all of a sudden that brake fails and the elevator drifts away, whether it's in the up or down direction.
Sure.
It could take off at any time. So again, with the brake failures, they need a secondary measure, right? A redundancy. There's other products out there within the field that we got into called a rope brake, where you stop the ropes on an elevator. There's an external type of a disc that would mount on a machine. And with both of those, with a rope brake, your machine could potentially keep spinning. Again, you're going to stop the ropes and stop the elevator. On a disc type, your elevator can keep moving because your ropes are kind of sliding over that shiv. Ours stops directly on the car, so you're literally stopping the car right where it's at. So a little different way of stopping an elevator. So.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about the demand for this. You mentioned code. Are there customers saying, "Hey, we want your device"?
Yeah, I mean code. What I mean by code, driving it. A17.3 2020 drives that in essence of that's an existing elevator code. So the existing elevator code states every elevator, if it's retroactive, has to have an unintended ascending movement device on there.
Okay.
So states like Nevada, Florida, going back, if they don't have a device, they need to be compliant by a certain year. So they usually give them a couple years, give the building owners a couple years to be compliant. And there again, that's what has been driving our device. New York City has what they call a single plunger type of a code where any elevator machine with a single plunger type of a brake, you need to take care of that with a device like ours. Okay. Again, a rope brake type of device, because those single plungers years ago could stick, and that single plunger lifts both sides of a brake shoe.
Okay.
And basically, if it sticks, you're not clamping down. That machine keeps moving, and the elevator keeps driving toward the top or bottom of the hoistway. So.
Gotcha. You obviously it's works for, like I say, the ascending or the descending. And I think you had mentioned the brakes on the roped elevators before, as we've talked, but it sounded like from the impression I got, that a lot of hydraulic elevators maybe didn't have much to hold them. They're just going to fall.
Well, yeah, I mean, hydraulic elevators, again, when we built our device, we wanted a device that could work on really all types of elevators. The other two I mentioned, those disc driven and the rope brake type applications, only work on traction elevators.
Okay.
Ours works on hydraulic elevators. Any elevator with T-rails,
sure,
our device will work on. So what is a hydraulic? A regular in-ground hydraulic type of if it's not a roped hydraulic, right, it has no safety device. So really no safety device on a hydraulic elevator if it isn't roped. What does roped mean? Rope means it has a set of hoist ropes, counterweighted, and does have a device that would set a governor and trip a governor in case of a runaway or an overspeed, right? So that's the rope side of it. A regular hydraulic elevator, though, doesn't really have any type of device. So if you get a cylinder that maybe has a hole due to excessive water in the ground, and over the years it blew a hole, that elevator, it cannot go up. It would only go down because you're losing pressure. So once you sense that, our device senses that based off of an encoder, if you will, understands where the counts are, floor level, things of that nature, and would clamp on the rails, stop the elevator, and shut the elevator down.
Gotcha. You had mentioned some time ago in a conversation a hospital that lost its CAT scan machine. What happened in that situation?
That was it was a unfortunate situation. The elevator came up to the landing, opened the doors. They were about to wheel a machine on there, and what happened is that the packing in that certain situation actually blew out, which again was not able to contain the pressure inside that cylinder,
right?
Piston cylinder. So what happened is the elevator took off and went down. Literally took that machine, the scanner, the CT scanner that they were wheeling in, and cut that in half. Caused a lot of damage, wedged the elevator at the opening, and caused quite a bit of damage. So with that prompted some hospitals to give us a call and said, "Hey, your device, it can stop that from ever happening?" Well, yes, it can. And a lot what you see out there is you see a lot of buildings, hospitals or whatnot, public use, government facilities, commercial buildings or whatnot. Their elevators are old. They might not have the money or they don't want to, but what we did find is in hospital situations and public use, they always have money for safety features. And that's a good safety feature to have. So that's increased our end by saying, hey, you have a device that would work. Yes, we do. We'll keep the public safe. Yes, it will. So that's sparked a lot of interest.
Yeah. Well, and you obviously have a group of customers there that they can see the immediate benefit. I mean, obviously there's super fortunate that no one was on.
Yes.
Was in there with the CAT scan machine. Cause I know those things are not cheap and they're not light.
No.
And that could have been much more catastrophic than just a CAT scan machine in an elevator.
And they look at it and they say, hey, look, they've had problems on elevators in the past. And when people are involved and they hurt themselves or they may get killed or wedged in an elevator, the cost of that lawsuit is just, is astronomical. Mm-hmm. So when you think about a safety device that you're going to add on an elevator for, $20,000-$30,000, sure, you might have 10 elevators, but boy, it's a hell of a lot cost effective to run with a safety device. And your insurance companies look at that too and say, hey, wow, you know what? Now you've lessened that liability impact, if you will. And it does affect some of their rates and costs and things of that nature. So,
right. Well, just the reassurance of knowing, to your point a minute ago that a lot of the hydraulic elevators just don't have anything. So who's to say your packing's not going to blow and have some kind of unintended descent that it's like, you never know.
You don't. I mean, you're packing your again, electrolysis in the ground, water in the ground, transferring back to, you get a 2, 3, 4 stop elevator where you have 40 feet of cylinder in the ground. Again, it might not be protected by PVC. Today's codes, you sink a PVC tubing in there, if you will, and now your cylinder is going in there. So you're keeping that dry. You're keeping that away from all types of catastrophic effects on that cylinder. So again, the odds of you blowing out a cylinder are very slim at that point now. But there's hundreds of thousands of elevators out there, hydraulics, that do not have that PVC type of a sleeve or encapsulated. So
yeah, well, and you've kind of got a story to tell now, right? You could kind of approach every hospital in the country and say, "Hey, here's what happened, and here are all the people that called us. Do you want to get on board?"
Yes. Yeah, and that's been part of our end as well, contacting some of the folks direct. The elevator companies too have looked and looked at our product and says, boy, you know what, this is a pretty unique product, and boy, this would work in a lot of these situations. So some of them are smart enough too to go out and say, I'm going to pitch this to a hospital. That gives me a little bit of what we call open order work in the industry. Yeah, right? It gives us keeps our teams busy, and this is great for safety factor, right? Mm-hmm. So that's helped. It's helped on both sides. So.
Yeah. How difficult is it to install on an existing elevator?
Our product is number one. Our product is very costly because of the way we built it. We built it to withstand different climates.
Nice.
Florida, Texas, high humidity. You're in a parking garage, right? We don't want our product to rust. So a lot of what we use is a lot of stainless within our product. Mm-hmm. Our pumping unit's a high pressure pumping unit. So the material costs are higher, but the labor to install it is the biggest ticket, right? So once we have trained folks on how to install our product, normally we tell them it's probably going to take you about 2 days if you've never installed one. Okay. After that, we're seeing some of the team, the teams that are out there, the technicians that are out there, we're seeing anywhere from 6 to 8 hours to install one of our devices. Okay. And then you're ready to go. You can test it the next day, pass it on inspections or whatnot. But so roughly about a day to install. If you're in a modernization situation, you're kind of split that up. You're probably 4 hours to install the device. Later on down the line, another couple hours to wire it in as you're wiring the car top. So you're even reducing more of the time frame. So the biggest key is the labor savings. Sure. Labor savings per team is very, very expensive across the country, depending where you're at. From New York to Chicago to San Francisco, you could be $1,000 an hour for a team rate. Sure. So again, when you're spending a couple extra days installing another device, let's say like a rope brake, sure. Or an external disc type, that could take, in some situations, anywhere from 3 days to 2 weeks to install one of those. Right. So that's a lot of labor.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And how long do they last? I mean, would you say, hey, you need to replace it every time you modernize your elevator, or can you take it off and mod and then just bolt it back on, or what does that look like?
The best part about ours is it can be reused in a modernization. So with even some of the codes driving the existing elevator end of it, with A173 2020 as an example, you could put it on a 15, 20, 25-year-old elevator. And when you do go to modernize, or again, at that time, they do have the money to put a modernization plan together for all their elevators, they can reuse the device. Right. The device can be reused. So that's not a problem at all.
Very cool.
That's the
very
best
cool.
part about
So if somebody wanted to learn more or see more or, understand how it works, where would you direct them?
I'd have you go to our website, HydraSafeBrake.com, and it's HydraSafeBrake.com. And everything is on there. We've got tutorials, we've got safety bulletins, we've got AHJ documentation, where the AHJ is how do you inspect the unit? Again, we're tied in with NASA and some other platforms for the elevator inspectors that are out there as well. So we're out and we're trying to, in certain parts of the country for NASA, we're teaching our end on. It's about an hour, goes toward your CUs for the hours that you need to keep your elevator inspection license. You need 10 hours a year. So what we do is we try to help them out. We go through code on ours.
Sure.
We go back to 2.19, A171 2.19. We run through all the aspects of that and how to inspect it and things of that nature. So all the information is on the website, and that's the best way to get a hold of us.
Yeah. And as we wrap up this interview, Kevin, what would you say to those who are maybe teetering on the edge, trying to decide if they want to spend that extra money?
Again, it's a safety product. We're very big into safety, and it's funny when I think back in 1985 when I got in the elevator business, and they gave me this little belt, and it had a rope on the end of it. Well, today's day and age, with harnesses and the gloves and the glasses and all the PPE that's out there right now, again, we've advanced so much in technologies. Sure. And with safety that's out there, why would you want to compromise any one of your elevators if you know that you have an avenue to keep the public safe? So that's what I would say. It's a great option, and we're not for every application, but again, for several applications out there, we're a perfect fit. So
awesome, Kevin. Thank you again. It's been a pleasure as always.
Thank you. Appreciate your time and having HydraSafe Brake on your podcast. I appreciate it.
You bet. Well, good luck to you as you continue keeping people safe.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. Thank you for listening to the Elevator Careers Podcast, sponsored by the Allred Group, a leader in elevator industry recruiting. Please visit our YouTube channel at Elevator Careers or check us out online at elevatorcareers.net. Please like and subscribe, and until next time, stay safe.